You're listening to the Arena Sports Network, the Quad County Experience, where every fan has a voice and every team has a fan.
Today's edition of Snowman in the Morning is dedicated to the memory of Casey Kasem. Keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching toward the stars.
I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay.
Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Good morning.
It's time to wake up.
This is Snowman in the Morning on the Arena Sports Network.
Did you not get the memo? Let's get busy!
Paint the town, take a bow, thank everybody. You're gonna do it again. You are the few, the crowd, you are the antibody, mind, soul, and zen.
I haven't done this in about 4 months, but I'm going to do it this morning. On your mark, get set, and I know there's people around me, but the heck with it. Let's go. Good morning, and welcome back to Snowman in the Morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are live from Starbucks in downtown Chicago on State and Adams. And I got a smile from a person in front of me. I thought I frightened the daylights out of her with my greeting. But after 4 long months away from doing the morning show, several things came into play. Snowman in the Morning is back. And all of our programming on the Arena Sports Network is powered by LaPorteCountyLife.com. Who asks you, have you heard the good news? Snowman in the Morning today, presented by Starbucks of downtown Chicago. Stop on by on State and Adams and see the friendly crew here, and stop by and say hi if you get you get a chance. We're here toward the corner, and I'll tell you what, folks, we got a lot to get to today, but let me just take a couple of minutes and say thank you to all the fans that have stuck with me throughout this journey, throughout this entire process, because two big things. I'll talk about this before we close the show. Two big things came into play, and had some things happen, and we're still trying to get a lot of things. We're still trying to get a lot of things together. So please bear with us. We're going to get it together. We're doing the best we can, and we're getting better each day. Rusty Silber's on the way in approximately 60 seconds from now. And you know what I'm going to talk about, folks. You know what the lead story is, right? Did y'all see how the Miami Heat got dismantled and destroyed in this year's NBA Finals? That's the bulk part of the show right there. And I can speak for a lot of fans, true NBA fans. I mean, you don't even have to be a Spurs fan to celebrate what happened last night. I had a good friend, my dear friend Joshua Jackson, called me. And I kept asking him, can I say it, Josh? Can I say it? And he said, go right ahead and say it. And my first words were, ding dong, the witch is dead. She's dead. The Miami Heat lost. The Spurs dismantled them, and it was a 5-game conquest. And it was indeed a conquest. A 5-game conquest for their 5th title. Our congratulations to the San Antonio Spurs for winning their 5th title. And I got a very cool story to share about a couple of very special Spurs fans. I know a very dear friend. I got a very dear friend. His name is Aaron Mayfield. We call him the Bear. I know he was jumping up and down last night because he's a native Texan. And he's a big-time Spurs fan. And I couldn't even begin to describe how happy he is. But we'll get to all that in just a moment. You know what? Every time I trust Rusty, and I'm picking on him on purpose, every time I trust Rusty to bring me some good news, he's late. Rusty Silber will be along in just a moment with Rusty's Morning Wrap. It's presented by Wood Forest Bank. Let me thank a couple of folks. Let me thank the folks at Wood Forest Bank out in Michigan City, Indiana. And also let me say thanks to Kukla's Cupcakes, which will sponsor our hotline. And all of our guests that appear on our programs, and I pluralize that, programs, will appear courtesy of the Kukla's Cupcakes hotline. And also, and if you can tell I'm delaying, I'm trying to get a few more things going here. What we're trying to do, I don't know why I stopped this. What we're trying to do is we're trying to stream across, we're testing 2 different channels right now, and ultimately we want to test 4. And I think I just solved the puzzle of why nothing was going out. Okay, I think I just solved it. And all right, that's going to connect in just a moment. We're trying to solve our connections here. But if you are listening along with us and you find us on the the new website, let me get that out too. The new website, we put that together, is arenasportsnet.com. And I have a friend, Barry Cullum, who came up with that name and said you need to use that. So we did, and everything seems to be great. People are catching on very well. We're outfitting all of our promotional material, and we got some coming. We got a lot of it coming, I should say. All of our promotional material is going to say Arena Sports Net. For business purposes, we are officially registered as the Arena Sports Network LLC, and I'm so happy that happened. That happened on April 7th of this year. So as you can tell, we got a lot of stuff coming, and I'm stalling, waiting for Rusty to come in. Why hasn't he? Rusty usually calls in right now, but he hasn't called in yet, and I know I'm coming up on a break here in just a moment. But I have a question of the day that's going to come at the bottom of the first hour. We're going to talk all things NBA Finals. Let me throw this plug in there. This afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern, the afternoon locker room also returns, and it's loaded. And when I say loaded, it's loaded because not only do I have Lyle Files coming on, he'll come on at 5 after the hour. The Round Ball Report with Michael Ramos will kick off the second hour. And I got a dear friend from Indianapolis, Keith Myers, that will be coming on as well. And I am being told that we have to go to a break, and I know Rusty's due. And I think he's a little late in calling in because I think something happened on his end. So what we're going to do, we are going to pause for a break, and then we're going to go into our breakdown of the NBA Finals. And I'm going to have so much fun talking about this, all the comparisons therein. And when Rusty does call in, we will have Rusty's Morning Wrap. So we're going to pause, and we'll come back in a deuce, and we'll break down the NBA Finals. You are listening, and yes, this is live, folks. From Starbucks in downtown Chicago, this is Snowman in the Morning on the Arena Sports Network. I'll be back.
You do a lot of thinking on a bike. About your life, family, your dreams. One of my dreams came to me on a bike, to open up my own shop. So what happens when you complete a dream? Well, you just start thinking of the next.
Visit DrastichAgency.com or call 219-945-3040 and ask Joel Drastich how you can get all of your insurance under one roof.
At Strack & Van Til, we just made saving on groceries even easier with our new building blocks of value. Just look for the new icons all around the store to find our weekly advertised specials, everyday smart buys, exclusive limited time offers, new lower prices, and even extra rewards. These bright, colorful icons are all about building honest, uncomplicated value, one block at a time, and giving you more ways to save every day. To learn more, visit ValueMeansMore.com today.
How do you turn a batter into a hitter? With Slugmaster Hitting Stations. Slugmaster Hitting Stations are the most effective and durable baseball and softball batting practice devices available. Versatile, compact, and easy to use, they are excellent tools for ball player at any skill level. Attached to any pole or post for an instant hitting station. Use it at the ballpark, at home, or anywhere you want to get some hits in. Work the strike zone, top to bottom, in and out. The most complete workout year-round, indoors or outdoors, teams or individuals. Slugmaster equipment is constructed from high-grade steel. The rugged design means years and years of use. Slugmaster equipment is used by youth, high school, college, and professional ball players. For more information or to place your order, call 708-705-7354 or visit slugmaster.com. Slugmaster Baseball and Softball Hitting Aids, turning batters into hitters.
Now what's that? I say, now what's that boy up to? Better check on it, yeah.
You're listening to Snowman in the Morning.
Ask a silly question, get a silly answer.
Snowman in the Morning back in your ears from Starbucks in downtown Chicago on State and Adams on this Monday morning, June 16th. And we thank you for starting your morning with us. You can find us several ways through our website at arenasportsnet.com and also through Spreaker. If you go to Spreaker.com, search Snowman in the Morning. That's how you'll find us there. Find us on iTunes as well. You can hear the replay on iTunes. And I forgot to get this side of the way, and I know Sherry's going to get in my ear about this. Sherry, one of my wonderful producers of our programming here on ASN, she's going to get in my ear about this, and I have to tell the folks, and it's exciting news. Arena Sports Network is now 24 hours. If you go to arenasportsnet.com, you'll see the Listen Live button in the top right-hand corner, and we're constantly changing that, trying to make it easy for the folks to find it and making it easy for the folks to navigate on the website. So if you go to the website, arenasportsnet.com, and look in the top right-hand corner, you'll see a little media player. All you have to do is click play, and you'll hear us 24 hours a day. The Arena Sports Network, where every team has a fan. Now, speaking of fans, I find this very interesting. I said we talk a lot about the dismantling of the Miami Heat, which is going to happen later on in the summer. I pretty much guarantee that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll admit that I'm wrong. But everybody wants to a lot of people want to say how Miami lost the series and not how San Antonio won the series. Let's put this in perspective, shall we? The team that everybody, myself admittedly included, called old, over the hill, and unable to keep up with the young guns. Hell, I picked the Warriors to come out of the West because they were the youngest team. And I got shut up big time. And I'll admit it. I even like watching the Spurs. They're one of my favorite teams to watch because they're so fundamentally sound, and that won them a world championship. Get over it, Miami fans. When you deal with it's hard to deal with the fact, especially with this Big Three era, that Miami got a foot put in their ass. And what makes it so bad are the way the final 3 games ended. All blowouts. And it's also the first time in the James, Wade, and Bosh era that they surrendered 100 points 3 consecutive finals games. When Miami stole Game 2, 98-96, not only did I think it woke the Spurs up, and forgive the way I'm going to phrase this, I think it pissed them off. And the reason I think that, take a look at the last 3 games. 111, 107, 104. You don't do that to this Miami team unless you're about as fundamentally sound as it gets. And Greg Popovich, who just completed his 18th season at the helm of the Spurs, he preached fundamentals, and he still continues to preach fundamentals. But with the athletes that he has, he kind of opened the offense up a little bit, which makes it so which made it so fun to watch. Not to mention, in the 4 victories by the Spurs in the finals this year, each victory San Antonio recorded 100 points total, which was all 4 wins by the Spurs were blowouts. No one wants to mention the fact that the Spurs took Miami apart offensively. No one wants to mention the fact that everybody on the Spurs touched the ball before they got a good shot. And no one really wants to mention the fact that the Spurs set a record in the NBA Finals by shooting nearly 53% as a team. 53% as a team. And you know what fueled all this? Everyone knows the answer to this question. Everyone knows the answer to this question, but I'm going to reiterate it for those of you who are unsure. What fueled all this was a missed free throw last year. And the missed free throw occurred in Game 6 of the finals last year in Miami. My producer, Sherry, checking in with me saying, sounds good. Thank you very much, Sherry. Appreciate it. And she's listening in from Jacksonville, Florida. So my producer from afar giving us a thumbs up, giving us a good signal. Nobody wants to mention, I'll say it again, and I'm going to defend this. Nobody wants to mention the fact that Miami did Miami not only lose the series? Yeah, they lost the series. But let's be honest, the Spurs took them apart. They took them apart. And what fueled all this, I'll say it again, a missed free throw in Miami 1 year ago. And the one free throw that was missed by the gentleman who claimed the finals MVP in a dominating performance. And that person is Kawhi Leonard out of San Diego State. He made sure that he left his mark. He left his mark last year, all right? He left his mark last year. But that one missed free throw haunted him, and it ultimately cost the Spurs the championship last year. This year they made sure it wouldn't happen. The only reason Miami stole Game 2, the Spurs kind of ran out of gas. But you would think, with all the momentum that Miami had in stealing Game 2, that they would go back to Florida and take care of business, because until the Spurs showed up, they were undefeated at home. Undefeated now. They were undefeated at home. And you would just have to assume that Miami would win one or both in Miami before coming back to Texas. Instead, the Spurs came to Miami looking for blood, and they got the whole damn blood bank. And I saw a comment on Facebook last night which kind of describes the series. It's not the fact that the Spurs took the heart out of Miami. They took their soul. They absolutely took their soul and had no intention on giving it back. Spotted an article this morning, Sekou Smith, who writes Hang Time, This morning I got that wrong. This morning was written by Fran Blindberry on NBA.com. And the beginning line says it all. It was a season, I'll quote, it was a season the Spurs attacked like the world was their piñata, determined to keep hitting and hitting it, smacking and banging it until one day it would burst open. When the prizes finally fell at their feet Sunday night, it was relief, release, and redemption. Close quote. Tim Duncan said, quote, it makes last year okay. The celebration that went on last night at the AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas, the celebration that's going to go on all summer long on the Riverwalk in San Antonio, it's going to be nuts. It's going to be nuts, and it comes from a team that, for the most part, no one wants to watch or wanted to watch because they're so fundamentally sound. No one wants to add the fact, no one wants to mention the fact that the Spurs added a long-distance game this year. No one wants to mention the fact that everyone was a year older and a year wiser and remembered what happened to Miami. No one wants to mention the fact that the Spurs were supposed to win the finals this year, and the reason is they survived a 7-game war with their in-state rivals, the Dallas Mavericks. And they trailed that series 2-1. After they got rid of Dallas, well, I can't say the series of Oklahoma City was easy. I mean, it took them 6 games. But at the same time, didn't you get the feeling that it would be the Spurs year after they got rid of Dallas? I borrowed from this article again here on NBA.com. In the process, the Spurs reintroduced the world to what it means to play the game at its purest form. Let me say that again. Its purest form. The linear descendants of the 60s Celtics and the 70s Knicks who shared the ball and take away the breath of anyone who has ever loved the game. That's what the Spurs did. You know, Jeff Van Gundy many times on a couple of plays in Miami said, why don't you put this on an infinite loop, the way the Spurs pass the ball around? And did they ever pass the ball around? Miami was a step slow, two or three steps slow. And just when you think Miami would recover on defense, the Spurs had another trick for them. Pass and cut, the most simplest way to play basketball. Pass and cut. And they did all of that and then some. And that's why the Spurs are the NBA World Champions. And I love this line also, and I'm going back to the article on NBA.com entitled Spurs Redemption Makes the Game Better. And it was written by Fran, I want to say this right, Blindberry. There are more passes in an average Spurs offensive possession than a singles bar on a weekend night. More cuts than a butcher counter. More bodies moving than in an earthquake. Their style of play practically comes with a musical score you can hear in your head. Man, is that ever true. Snowman of the Morning presented by Starbucks of downtown Chicago. We're here on State and Adams. Stop by and see the lovely crew here, the great crew here, and get your favorite drink to get your day started. Starbucks, fueling Chicago. Talking all things NBA Finals. And I'm going to yell at Rusty. He was supposed to call in. I bet you he overslept. I bet you Rusty overslept. Hey, I've been away for 4 months, so I can't bark at him too much. That's just crazy. It's just crazy the way they took apart Miami. But at the same time, Miami doesn't play defense anyway. They didn't for the most part this year. And in some of the losses, you can see how this is going to play out. And some of the Miami losses throughout the course of the season and the playoffs, it was a defensive possession or 2 or 3 that cost them a game. You know, when a lot of people were thinking when Miami got rid of Indiana that it would be easy pickings for them the rest of the way. Not so fast. Everybody counted out San Antonio. Almost everybody counted out San Antonio, and I'll say it again, because they were old, because they were over the hill, because they play fundamental basketball. That should have been a reason right there for you to watch. Because they do play fundamental basketball. And before you look up, you're down 17, and you're going, wait a minute, what did they do that was so spectacular? You know what they did? They shared the ball. Take a lesson, LeBron. They shared the ball. Now, I will give LeBron James this kind of credit. He did come out firing in Game 5. But then they put a hand on his throat the rest of the game. He came out with 17 points in the first quarter, which pauses and gives me a what if. What if those 17 points came in the fourth quarter instead of the first? Would it have been different? What if LeBron actually stayed consistent throughout the course of the game?